1919 was an auspicious year in history. The First World War ended, ushering a drastic change in the world order. The Philippine Islands had been a U.S. territory for 2 decades and was promised independence under the Jones Law of 1916. Progressive reformers saw the country and its people as a major target for modernization, and education was its main weapon. 7 forward-looking Filipinas came together in 1919 to create a school where young women could gain the knowledge and skills that would make them modern women. Paz Marquez Benitez was the first president of the Philippine Women's College. Jose Abad Santos was its first chairman of the Board of Trustees. Francisca Tirona Benitez was the second president, and with her husband Dean Conrado, guided the school from a house on A. Flores Street to its iconic Taft Avenue campus. In 1932, the college became a university, making PWU the first university for women in Asia founded by Asians. It provided a space where innovations in education flourished, and young people were encouraged to be the best that they could be. For over 100 years, the Philippine Women's University has been known as a leader in quality education. In 1934, PWU moved into its main campus on Taft Avenue, and since the 1970s has been co-educational. Located in the heart of Metro Manila, it is easily accessible by public transport and surrounded by affordable housing. Today's PWU offers undergraduate and graduate courses in several fields of study. Its business and management programs are responsive to the needs of industry, using evolving technology for global competence. PWU graduates excel in arts and sciences, education, social work, and diplomacy. Its fine arts and music programs have produced outstanding graduates through a holistic education that treasures heritage as well as excellence. PWU has pioneered in fields such as food science, nutrition and dietetics, medical technology, pharmacy, and nursing. PWU continues to play an essential role in producing graduates who possess the skills that make them competitive in the country and anywhere in the world.
A united community.
We may not be blood related,
but we Patriots are one big family.
Being part of the PWU community strengthens us.
Through the years, we support each other through good times and bad times.
We Patriots always have each other's back.
It's a big honor to be part of a community that is open to the ideas of each other. drives us to excel and be the best version of ourselves.
That's the standard of excellence that we Patriots strive for.
I'm thankful that this community lets us be who we want to be.
We thrive because we accept each other for who we are.
And like a family, we treat each other equally.
Actually, PWU gave us a home and helped us to be a patriot in society.
We may have different individual drums and instruments,
But we march with the same beat together as one united community.
Do you want to march with our community of patriots?
I am a patriot.
I am a patriot.
I am a patriot. I am a patriot.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Hello Philippines, hello world. A pleasant day to each and everyone. It is our pleasure to be your moderator for today's webinar. My name is Stephanie Tilag.
My name is John Bob Redoblado, and on behalf of Philippine Women's University Graduate Studies School of Nursing, I would like to extend everyone a warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking off your busy schedules to join us today.
So, from the bottom of our hearts and all those involved in organizing this webinar, thank you very much. We hope you will learn a lot today. We, graduate students, have prepared a very interesting topic to help us gain more knowledge in current trends and issues in nursing, entitled
Excellence in Patient Care Through Nursing Transformation. Hi, staff!
Hi, partner!
I'm sure that we're both excited and glad to be here today. And in the next hour, I am positive our participants will learn tremendously from our well-esteemed guest speakers.
That's correct, John Bob. I myself am excited to learn from them. But before we begin, let's discuss what our participants will be expecting from today's webinar. First, our participants will be able to complete a nursing webinar under the subject Current Issues and Trends in Nursing and apply the learning in their field of specialization.
Second, participants will also be able to recognize the importance of transformational leadership in nursing to deliver excellent patient care.
Third, participants will be able to identify the magnet accreditation process and the impact of application of transformational leadership.
All right, just knowing these objectives is helping me get pumped up to begin. I am truly grateful for God's intervention to make this webinar come into fruition. May we call on Ms. Rogeline B. Marquez to lead the invocation, which will be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Let us all bow our heads and put ourselves in the holiness of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We are truly grateful for them. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another in this webinar. May you extend your divine wisdom to our speakers so that they may be able to impart effective leader God-given knowledge to all of us. May they be blessed as they continue to bring their expertise to people who need them. Bless the participants as well so that they may be able to glean the vital information acquired from this activity. May you bestow your blessings after this webinar so that we may go out and spread what we have learned in the spirit of your love and generosity. We pray that you bless all the committees in charge, that they may be able to fulfill their task responsibly, that all the objectives they have set may all be achieved. Your infinite blessing would mean the success of this webinar. We may be a living witness of your genuine love through the enactment of knowledge acquired through this activity. We may realize that this activity should glorify your name. Amen.
Kayang magiliw, pero saan sinanganan? Alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyat ka ng magiting. Sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw. May dilagang tulad, awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdiligdig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidinig. Lupa ng araw ng at ipagsintabay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga abi ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rogeline, for graciously offering this webinar to God. We, the webinar organizers, would like to welcome you again for attending today's webinar. I also greet our fellow colleagues from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia who are with us today. Marhaba ahlam bikum. Thank you for attending. We're also live at Philippine Women's University official Facebook and YouTube page. Hello everyone who is watching from these platforms. Please do not forget to hit like and subscribe to our official pages. There will be more webinars coming from PWU, so don't forget to check them out. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of our honorable program chairs in this meeting room. Partner?
Yes, Steph?
Since our topic today focuses on transformational leadership and magnet excellence, what comes to your mind?
Actually, Steph, the topic magnet excellence is something new to me. And I think this is a current trend in the developing countries. So I am very much excited to learn more about it. As for transformational leadership, I can describe it in one word: inspire. Leaders inspire people to make a better change in their environment.
For that, I give you a rating of 100. Kidding aside, I agree with you. For me, transformational leadership is about motivation and empowerment. And for Magnet Excellence, I am thrilled to hear the lecture about this topic too, since our hospital is currently preparing for the Magnet accreditation. With all of this said, let us begin today's webinar entitled Catching Up with Nursing Issues and Trends, Excellence in Patient Care Through Nursing Transformation. A little reminder to our participants, may we request everybody to be on mute during the session so we can all listen to the speaker and minimize any noise or distractions in the background. You can send in your questions through Q&A section so we could see it right away, and it will be addressed during Q&A session. We would also like to remind everyone that by attending this webinar, you will be able to obtain a certificate of attendance after filling up the evaluation form. Expect the certificates in your email within 15 days.
Thank you for the reminder, Steph. Without further ado, may we call on Ms. Marilyn Tayo, our event chairperson, to formally open our webinar.
Thank you, Mr. John and Ms. Stephanie. Good morning, Saudi Arabia, and good afternoon, Philippines. To our Honorable PWU President, Mr. Marco Alfredo M. Benitez, to the Vice President of the Academic Affairs, Dr. Felina Yang, to our dear guest speakers, Dr. Monalinda Makawadib and Mr. Ahmad Omar Hausawi, to our dear School of Nursing Dean, Dr. Minerva de Ala, to the Honorable PWU Deans from the Allied Health Schools, to our beloved Graduate Studies professors, especially to Dr. Mark Santos, to the respected PWU faculties who assisted us to make this webinar possible, to all the guests participating from different institutions, to our fellow Graduate Studies students, student nurses, and nursing colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, with a joyful heart, I am very pleased to welcome you all. In the era of consumerism, quality of care is inevitable regardless of the healthcare setting. Nursing leaders in employment organizations exercise power in making judgments in their day-to-day activities. Power is an authority over others. Empowerment, in contrast, is authority shared with others. Nursing empowerment means the ability to effectively motivate and mobilize self and others to accomplish positive outcomes in nursing practice and work environment. Quality improvement is an organized process that assesses and evaluates health services to improve practice or quality of care. The nurses' empowerment and patient quality care are both sides of the same coin. The empowered team influences staff morale, productivity, staff retention and associated costs, patient care quality, and patient safety. Enhancing leadership skills, being a positive change agent, education upgradation, and being evidence-based practice cheerleader abilities are required for nurses to become empowered professionals to render quality care. Nursing empowerment becomes an inevitable component to achieve quality improvement in any healthcare setting. That is why we would like to highlight in this webinar the exceptional impact of transformational leadership on empowerment and team effectiveness, and in molding our nurses to be exceptional leaders. So listen, feel empowered, and learn from our distinguished speakers. Be inspired and motivated. Once again, a pleasant day to everyone, and thank you all for being with us today. I hope you will all enjoy what we have prepared for all of you.
Thank you, Ms. Berlin, for that wonderful opening remark. Please be reminded that during our question and answer later, if you have any questions or concerns that you would like to raise to our speaker, you may type in the comment your questions or concerns, and we will address it during the question and answer portion of the program. I hope you're getting excited now for the lecture today. Before we go there, let us call on Ms. Rafaida Nimhar Samindi, graduate student taking up Masters of Arts in Nursing, to introduce our guest speaker this afternoon.
Thank you so much. A pleasant morning, everyone. Today marked to be one of the most rare and wonderful moments because of our invited guest speaker. Her achievements are commendable as they mirror a sense of commitment, hard work, and passion in the field of nursing profession. She graduated with a bachelor degree in nursing at Arellano University in 1997. Bold-spirited, she hurdled countless challenges in her professional career. Hence, in year 2010, she finished a master's degree in nursing, major in nursing administration, 2012, Master of Arts in Education, 2018, Master in Business Administration, major in Hospital Administration, and Doctor of Philosophy, major in Educational Planning and Management in year 2019. Her portfolio of professional development and training is fascinating as each experience gives life to her being a woman for others and a woman of God. To name a few, she had a good experience in Al-Ansar General Hospital in Medina Al-Munawwara, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for 3 years. She was a staff nurse at Amakpakpak Medical Center in Marawi City, chief nurse, instructor, and became the Dean of SMD Foundation Academy from 2011 to 2014. In 2014 to 2016, she got an experience in Security Forces Hospital in Makkah Al-Mukarramah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as Executive Assistant Director of Nursing and Nursing Director at Andalusia High Al Jama Hospital in Jeddah at year 2017 to 2020. And now, she is working at Mindanao State University as Assistant Professor from 2020 up to the present. Admired by her professional achievements, she was appreciated for being a resource speaker for various programs and seminars locally and internationally. She was also recognized as one of the Outstanding Leadership Award for discharging duties and responsibilities as director in 2018 Hospital Sibahe accreditation and got second place in Professional Podium Oral category during the 10th International Conference of Nurses held in Cebu Normal University, Cebu City. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Dr. Monalinda Makaantal Makawadi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Good day, everyone. Thank you so much to my former colleague, the versatile Miss Rafaida Insamindi, for the very humbling introduction. Before I formally start my presentation, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all the organizer of this timely webinar entitled Catching Up with Nursing Issues and Trends, Excellence in Patient Care Through Nursing Transformation. To the chairperson of this webinar, my former colleague, former OR Head Nurse in Security Forces Hospital, Saudi Arabia, thank you so much for having me here. The title of my presentation is about Transformational Leadership in Nursing. These are the following learning objectives of this presentation. To be able to understand the brief history of transformational leadership, to be able to differentiate transactional leadership and transformational leadership, to be able to define leadership, transformational leadership, and transformational leaders. To be able to discuss the components or the 4 I's of transformational leadership, the 5 exemplary leadership practice, the 7 principles of transformational leadership, the characteristics of transformational leadership in nursing, the benefits of transformational leadership in nursing, and to be able to understand the challenges of transformational leadership in nursing practice. Today's healthcare leaders continuously face the challenges of meeting high expectations and adapting to change. Transformational leadership is the preferred management style of magnet hospitals, has been shown to transform entire teams to a higher level of practice. The journey to magnet excellence through exceptional transformational leadership will be discussed later by my co-resource speaker, Sir Ahmad Omar Hausawi of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and I am tasked to discuss the theoretical side of transformational leadership in nursing. What is leadership and who are leaders? Leadership is one of those difficult concepts that is sometimes readily identified but never easily defined. Simply put, leadership is the discipline and art of guiding, directing, motivating, and inspiring a group or organization toward the achievement of common goals. It includes the management of people, information, and resources. It requires commitment, communication, creativity, and credibility. It demands the wise use of power. Leadership is ultimately about creating a way for people to continue to contribute to making something extraordinary happen. In 1978, leadership expert James McGregor Burns, a political scientist and historian, introduced a leadership. Burns was interested in the leadership styles used by key figures in history, including Mahatma Gandhi, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and John F. Kennedy. Burns described transformational leadership as occurring when two or more persons engage with others in such a way that the leader and followers raise one another to high levels of motivation and morality. This theory differed significantly from other older leadership styles, such as transactional leadership, because it proposed that meeting the needs of followers was vital to achieving high work performance. Before I continue my discussion about transformational leadership, let's differentiate transactional leadership from transformational leadership. So what is transactional and transformational leadership? Transactional leadership is primarily based on processes and control and requires a strict management structure. While transformational leadership, on the other hand, focuses on inspiring others to follow, and it requires a high degree of coordination, communication, and cooperation. To give more emphasis on the difference between transactional leadership and transformational leadership, in transactional leadership, this occurs when followers are moved to complete their roles as agreed with a leader in exchange for a reward. For example, during the accreditation preparation, the nurse attends lectures after her duty hours in exchange of extra off or owing time. In transformational leadership, leaders move followers to awareness about what is important and away from own self-interest. In this leadership style, the nurse attends and participates in the preparation of the accreditation because of his or her motivation to help the organization achieve excellent performance in the accreditation. In transactional leadership, the leader focuses on goals, use rewards and punishment for motivation, and are reactive in nature. While in transformational leadership, the leader focuses on vision, use charisma and enthusiasm for motivation, and are proactive in nature. Transformational leadership is defined as a leadership approach that causes change in individuals and social systems. In its ideal form, it creates valuable and positive change in the followers with the end goal of developing followers into leaders. A simple definition of transformational leadership is a style of leadership in which the leader identifies the needed change, creates a vision to guide the change through inspiration, and executes the change with the commitment of others. What is transformational leadership in nursing? Transformational leadership motivates followers by appealing to higher ideas and moral values where the leader has a deep set of internal values and ideas. This leads to followers acting to sustain the greater good, rather than their own interest, and supportive environments where responsibility is shared. Transformational leaders focus on transforming others to support each other and the organization as a whole. Followers of a transformational leader respond by feeling trust, admiration, loyalty, and respect for the leader, and are more willing to work harder than originally expected. In 1985, Bernard M. Bass, leadership researcher and professor at Binghamton University, expanded on Burns' ideas to develop the Bass Transformational Leadership theory. Transformational leadership comprises by the four components or the 4 I's. The components of transformational leadership or 4 I's are the following. First, charisma or idealized influence. A transformational leader is a role model of values and aspiration for followers. He or she inspires trust and commitment to a cause. Charisma refers to the ability to inspire a vision. The charisma of idealized influence finds its success from a primary belief in others. It is the ability to influence others, to inspire not only a willingness to follow, but also an expectation of success, an anticipation of becoming part of something greater than self. Charismatic leaders know who they are and where they are going. Charismatic leaders possess self-confidence, self-direction, and an absence of internal conflict. They have insight into their followers' need and utilize this to positively influence their followers. Second, individual consideration. The transformational leader has a kind of humility that looks beyond self to the mission of the organization and the value of the work of others. He or she uses many professional skills, including listening, coaching, empathy, support, and recognition of the contributions of followers. The transformational leader enables others to act toward a shared vision. The effective leader recognizes and promotes the contributions of others and creates a culture of sharing, celebration, and unity within the entire team. In short, transformational leaders act as coaches and mentor. The third is inspirational motivation and vision. Transformational leaders influence others by high expectations with a sight toward the desired future. They set high standards and instill others with optimism, a sense of meaning, and commitment to a dream, goal, or cause. They extend a sense of purpose and purposeful meaning that provide the energy to achieve goals. They inspire from a foundation of truth. Transformational leaders in nursing motivate and inspire other nurses to work and cooperate with their head nurse or supervisor. The fourth is intellectual stimulation. The transformational leader is a broadly educated, well-informed individual who looks at all problems in new ways. He or she challenges boundaries, promotes creativity, and applies a range of disciplines, ideas, and approaches to find solutions. This involves fearlessness and risk-taking. The transformational leader reads broadly, takes lessons from many disciplines beyond clinical practice, and engages as an interested citizen in public discourse on a full range of topics, from ballet to baseball, from ecology to economics. The transformational leader may find strategies from the arts and literatures, humanities, business, or other sciences. Such leaders ask questions and nurture independent and critical thinking. The transformational leader assumes that people are willing and eager to learn and test new ideas. Transformational leaders stimulate innovation and creativity. The exemplary leadership model offers a clear path for anyone wishing to cultivate a transformational leadership style. The following summaries of the 5 exemplary leadership practices incorporate select criteria from the transformational leadership components of the 2019 Magnet Application Manual. First, modeling the way. You model the way by setting this example for others to follow, demonstrating open communication and enthusiasm for nursing excellence and patient care. Experienced nurse leaders interviewed about this practice provide visibility on the units with daily rounding, timely multidisciplinary huddles for significant events, and consistent follow-up with staff about concerns so that they know their leaders care. In addition, these leaders are transparent with staff in positive and difficult situations, resulting in trust, respect, and collaboration. Second, encouraging the heart. You encourage the heart by enabling input into key decisions from all levels of the organization, appreciating individual contributions and celebrating accomplishments. You can use this practice to improve patient care and the practice environment by constantly rewarding staff. Use a mix of strategies when recognizing individual accomplishments. Some may not want to be publicly acknowledged. Making eye contact, establishing personal connections through shared interests, sharing family pictures, and connecting with staff during good and bad times. Third, inspiring a shared vision. You inspire a shared vision for the future when you can effectively envision it yourself and describe it to others in a way that elicits excitement. Your passion for making a difference is evident, and you enlist others in seeing exciting possibilities for the future so that everyone is aligned in purpose and action. Fourth, enabling others to act. You enable others to act when you enlist them to participate in new opportunities and engage them in collaborative activities, creating a sense of trust and empowerment. You're dedicated to the concept of structural empowerment and professional governance, and you emphasize professional obligation, accountability, interprofessional collaboration, and shared decision-making. Examples of this leadership practice include advocating for resources to support unit and organizational goals, leadership development, mentoring, and succession planning. The unit culture should be open and supportive to employee input on new initiative implementation. The last practice is challenging the process. When you challenge the process, you're not always satisfied with the status quo. You take risks and experiment with new ideas, and you learn from mistakes in a way that identifies new opportunities and supports positive change. You identify your ability to influence organizational policy, using data to make decisions and lead strategic organizational changes. So, that forms transformational leadership. Leadership comes in various forms, such as the civil rights leadership of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the political leadership of John F. Kennedy, and the managerial leadership of a small business owner. Like leaders, there are several leadership styles, including transformational leadership, which is appropriate for many business environments. Transformational leaders are true and trusted leaders. As a nurse leader, apply the 7 principles of transformational leadership to obtain a harmonious work atmosphere. The first principle in the principles of transformational leadership is simplification. Under the principle of simplification, the transformational leader speaks in a clear and practical manner while articulating the direction the team is heading. Specifically, the plan for each project should include more than what needs to be done at the moment. The desired end result should also be vividly communicated so employees know where they are and the project are heading. By knowing and effectively relaying what the project needs to transform into the anticipated result, you eliminate miscommunication and misunderstanding. Second, motivation. Employees need motivation to perform at their best. Under the principle of motivation, you gain the agreement and commitment necessary to elevate your vision. By understanding your employees' likes and dislikes, you know what motivates and what doesn't. For example, recognizing and uploading their accomplishments, providing training to increase their knowledge base, establishing a pleasant work environment, giving half days off for performing above expectations, or providing weekly snacks such as bagels or donuts, can motivate employees into performing at their highest level. Third, determination. Determination means having the tendency to finish the race regarding of the hurdles that come your way. The principle of determination requires you to depend on your courage, stamina, strength, and perseverance to realize your vision. By displaying endurance, you show employees that hard work pays off in the end. Fourth, mobilization. You need the right people to elevate your vision. Transformational leaders know how to assemble the appropriate team to get the job done. This includes enlisting, empowering, and equipping qualified team leaders and other willing participants who do not have leadership roles. The transformational leader understands the importance of assigning tasks based on participants' characteristics and abilities. Fifth, preparation. The principle of preparation requires transformational leaders to be infinite students. You must have the introspective ability to keep learning about yourself, alone or with the assistance of others. To maintain a flourishing bond with your employees, you must always be prepared to nurture and support the relationship. This means looking outside yourself, concentrating on what's best for the team, and transferring this energy to your employees so they emulate this behavior. 6. Facilitation. The principle of facilitation requires you to provide your employees with the proper learning tools to elevate the vision to its greatest height. Specifically, workers need stimulating work that challenges and expands their minds and facilitates the desire to keep learning. As a transformational leader, you recognize this principle and work toward improving your employees' intellectuality. 7. Innovation. Change in a business environment is inevitable. Just like what happened to us nowadays with the pandemic. So under the principle of innovation, you courageously recognize the need for change and initiate it accordingly. For example, innovation may include learning and adapting to upgraded accounting system or adjusting to an employee who has just been promoted to management. As a transformational leader, you effectively show employees why the change is needed, how it will benefit them and the company, and how to embrace it. Now, the characteristics of a transformational leader in nursing. First, is a model of integrity and fairness. Second, sets clear goals. Third, has high expectations. Fourth, encourages others. Fifth, provides support and recognition. 6. Steers people's emotions. 7. Gets people to look beyond self-interest. And 8. Inspires people. Let's move on to the benefits of transformational leadership in nursing. Healthcare managers and administrators should strive to be transformational leaders, giving their nursing staff the confidence to make decisions. Healthcare facilities that implement transformational leadership reap benefits in a number of areas: patient care and satisfaction, employee satisfaction, greater efficiency, and lowered costs can all stem from the right style of leadership. Benefits of transformational leadership in nursing. First, it improves patient care. High-quality patient care requires two things. First, experienced healthcare professionals. Of course, because as the nurse works, he or she will be cognizant of his or her responsibilities for continuous learning at work, and to confirm, create, and develop practical and professional knowledge, will obtain support from knowledgeable co-workers, and may choose among accessible knowledge resources in his or her particular workplaces. Second, effective communication. Over time, transformational leadership can improve the way healthcare teams communicate. Better communication in healthcare settings means fewer misunderstandings, consistency across shifts, and overall improved patient care. Transformational leadership style is considered to be of importance to increase patient safety. To facilitate a balance between job resources and job demands, and to create a sound patient safety culture within healthcare services. Second, benefit of transformational leadership in nursing is higher employee satisfaction. When healthcare and nursing leaders empower their teams to take charge and make decisions, employees are often motivated and inspired. A very common example of this is when the nurse manager in the unit, assuming in medical ward, before finalizing the monthly schedule, the nurse manager may have asked the staff if they have requested off preferable shifts, and or a logbook to write the requested duties and off. In this way, they feel empowered and take responsibility for their duty, for their team, and organizational successes, not just in their paychecks. Remember, when employees are trusted and management reiterates their value through their leadership style, overall job satisfaction increases. Getting your staff engaged and motivated is vital for reaching the highest possible productivity levels. A transformational leader is good at recognizing the needs of their followers, which enables them to find ways to inspire people to do their best work. Third, reducing turnover. Inspiring leaders keep staff more often and for longer than other types of leaders. They are usually also able to keep clients too. A transformational leader tries to satisfy both the company's need and his or her own at the same time. This means that all staffs feel like they have a specific role to play in the team, which keeps them engaged and lowers the cost of staff turnover. Happier employees who value their jobs are less likely to leave them. Nurses who have been at their place of employment longer and work well with the rest of the team are more effective caregivers. Reducing turnover allows leaders to build a team that is committed to the organization's success and experienced with its unique protocols, mission, and vision. Fourth, lowering costs. Healthcare executives often prioritize providing quality care at the lowest possible cost. Transformational leadership can have a direct impact on the bottom line. Quality healthcare requires the likelihood of lawsuits and costly errors. Low employee turnover means less money wasted on recruitment, training new employees, and or correcting their mistakes. Next, challenges in transformational leadership in nursing practices. The prevalent challenges of transformational leadership in nursing practice involve the following. First, lack of encouragement from the institution for the training of leaders. Second, professional inexperience and young age. And third, resistance to leadership and insubordination. The transformational leader in nursing must make the conscious decision to lead. Often, competent nurses are given opportunities to supervise or manage, but successful leaders choose to lead. Before I end this presentation, I would like to end with these two quotes from John C. Maxwell and James McGregor Burns. Transformational leaders are belief makers who help people to believe in themselves. According to James McGregor Burns, that the effectiveness of leaders must be judged not by their press clippings, but by actual social change measured by intent and by the satisfaction of human needs and expectations. Following are my references. I think that ends my presentation. Thank you so much. Stay safe, everyone, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Dr. Monalinda Macantal Macawadib, for the enlightening lecture. We are truly grateful for the wisdom that you have imparted in this webinar. We will see you later for the question and answer portion So for our dear participants, if you have questions for Dr. Mona Linda, kindly comment it in the comment section. We have moderators awaiting for it. I hope everyone is thrilled to learn more about our topics today and to give more elaborations and understanding of the lecture. May we call on Ms. Charmaine Latif Sahi, a fifth-year student of Masters of Arts in Nursing, to introduce our next guest speaker.
Blessed afternoon to each and everyone attending this webinar today. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who open-handedly help us make this event come together to become a success. It gives me great pleasure to introduce one of our guest speakers for today. He commenced his journey in nursing at the Nursing Institute of Makkah, Ministry of Health, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, wherein he completed his diploma last 1994. Moreover, he accomplished his degree as a registered diploma nurse in 2002 at King Abdulaziz Medical City National Guard Riyadh KSA, advancing his professional career and completed his bachelor's degree in nursing at the University of Southern Queensland, Australia, last 2006, wherein he was awarded with high distinction as the Dean's Commendation for Outstanding Achievement. Our speaker pursued and fulfilled his Masters of Science in Nursing at Monash University, Australia, and again awarded with excellence in 2007. He further proceeded his study and concluded his Master of Science in Bioethics in 2013. Recently, he completed his Fellow by Examination Award at the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland School of Nursing. Our speaker has more than 20 years of working experience as a researcher, Director for Continuing Medical Education, Executive Director of Nursing, Project Director of several endeavors, and currently a Chief Nursing Officer at Fakhi Care Nursing Division, Saudi Arabia. Today, our speaker will share his insights and experiences in leading a magnet accreditation. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ahmad Omar Hausawi.
The organizing committee for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to join such a great conference. And speaking after Dr. Nora Linda, I think it's giving me a great pleasure as actually she make my way to speech is more easy and smooth. She put lots of clarity and direction on the concept of transformational leadership. And when we speak about the change or development or perhaps any transformation, we need a transformational leader quality. So just to share the slides with you. Today a very important concept, which is actually the practical component of what reflect a transformational leadership in real practice. So when we speak about transformational leadership style, we are actually looking into impact, looking into engagement, looking into change. So all this are, in fact, goes in the line and the concept of positivity. So without being able to create a positive environment, transformational leadership cannot flourish. The vision cannot help and lead the organization, the staff into any change. So today I'm going to exercise some practical component of this and exemplify our experiences here at Faqih Care, Dr. Sulaiman Faqih Hospital, as well as the ambulatory services. So we're going to look into the concept of leadership and why leadership is really change, and why we need to change our leadership style, and also I may share with you a little bit of my experience in the last 28 years in nursing and being in the role of leadership and able to observe the changes that took place in the last 25 years in leadership and how it was before and how it's now. And where it's going, especially with the current changes and the demand which take place in healthcare. Also, we will highlight the concept of positive leadership and how we create a positive environment and what we mean with positivity. Comprehend and master the skills of competency positive. That's one of the aims that we would like you guys to gain out of this session. And also, we will give you a little bit of examples of how this actually style of leadership making difference and change in real life. So leadership is changing. Do we agree? Well, I think it's yes. If we look very closely to the concept of globalization before the flourishing of information technology and social media, most of the countries, they were in isolate. We were looking into our own life, but now after the big change that took place in technology, we can see the whole globe. Look into nursing, particularly. Nursing is a global work. Now, if you look into any country, you will find almost a United Nations representing in nurses, where you see multinationality, diverse group from different culture, different background, but they have one mission. So things is getting changed. Technology has its impact. Social media has its own impact. Before, if I ask a leader can do everything, but now leader under spot, leader under transparent platform. If anything happen, it goes in social media in seconds. If anything positive or negative, you have a new generation, those who we call them millennials and Z generation. Now we have a different generation than 25 years ago, where they started nursing. The current generation, the millennials, the Z generation, their needs, their demands, it's really different, and they grow up in technology time. So how are we going to lead this generation and how we can take them? So therefore, all this mandate the change in leadership concept, style. Now healthcare, as we said, it's more of diversity. Diversity not only in the employees and human resources, but also diverse in the condition and diseases. 2 years ago, the whole world has been changed after COVID-19 attack. So we do have a new, different norms of health care issues, whether it's through the disease process, through the technology, through the impact of the impact of what's happening around, whether it's environmental impact and so on, war and so on. So things is really getting changed, and therefore leadership must be changed. Stephen Covey has a very interesting quote in regards to the difference between management and leadership. When I ask any of my colleague before long time, what's the difference between leadership and management? Say, well, if you are a leader, you're going to manage. If you are a manager, you're going to lead. In fact, there is strong distinction among this. As Stephen said here, management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success. Leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against right wall. So that's mean in order to manage, you need to manage with a clear direction, with a clear vision, with a clear strategic objective, with ability to motivate, with the ability to engage, with the ability to inspire, with the ability to communicate in clarity, with the ability to have what we call emotional self-intelligence, and have your ability to foster and progress in your leadership and make difference within that organization. And this is the wall. But if I don't have a wall, and then I said, well, I have this ladder, how are you going to climb this? You're going to fall down on here. Therefore, not any manager can be a leader, but any leader, any good leader can be a good manager. So, and we go further to the concept of transformation. And as we heard in the previous presentation about the concept of transformation, it's about transforming, like a practice or service or staff or whatever, from a level to another level. But having this transform, that's when you're speaking about change. Change is not easy. Therefore, you need a whole set of transformational enablers, transformational leader, environment that has agility and positivity, having a leader with strong emotional intelligence, having adequate resources and support. Actually, as I call him, the father of emotional intelligence. He worked a lot on the specific leadership competencies aligned with emotional intelligence, and he challenged Bert's view on leadership style in terms of transformational and transactional, where he said leadership actually, all leaders, they are all formed in 6 categories. Whether a leader is actually a directive leader, a leader that able to direct his employees, his follower, and has a vision. He or she knows where to go, able to direct them, able to align them in the right direction. Or perhaps is a leader that has focus on vision. It's only visionary leader. We speak about vision and strategy, but maybe his lack of directive style leadership. And also he said there is something called affiliative leader. We know some of the leaders who are just like to work with team, within the team. You just, everything is okay, let's work with the team, let's make it down, like he or she sometimes does not even, speak in transparency just to avoid any conflict among the team, and just try to keep the what we call low profile leadership and management style. Although this affiliative leadership style is really needed, especially in a time of building team, you need to have this kind of skills, but it's not also recommended that you'll be all the time affiliative. Looking into participative leadership, a leader would like to be part of the team, always like to be to engage in a different change and being part of all the process. And this is very important concepts when it comes to the transformational leadership styles. Base setting, those leaders who, for instance, just say, well, when they finish a any milestone achievements, then they said, okay, let's go to the next. Okay, let's go to the next. So they don't have what we call a pause of time or perhaps reflection. They are very eager to move from task to another task. This kind of leadership normally give more of what we call exhaustion among the staff, and maybe some of the staff, they feel tired as far as they don't like as if you take one cup of water with one breath at the time. Coaching leader is another powerful leadership style, which is very important when it comes to the transformation and transformational leadership qualities. A leader is not just to lead and direct people. A leader is able to coach his or her followers in terms of showing the way. Yes, I may tell them, yes, go there, but how? Any leader should have the ability, have these skills of teaching, has the ability, has those skills of coaching, and so on. And that's how it make this leader able to move his or her staff in the right direction. The learning I got actually which maybe it's not that from it, but it's more of personal views on how I see leadership. In fact, I worked in leadership for a while. I was led by a different leadership styles, whether it's autocratic leader or democratic or perhaps a transformational or transactional leader. So this experience taught me a lot of lessons, which I see it in everything I do now. So I believe leadership is not about hierarchy. Leadership is about vision, realization, and empowerment. If you are a leader who's believe in autocratic leadership and boss image, that everything should be through me, my word is the only word, and like more of what we call commanding leader, this leadership style cannot exist anymore, cannot function, cannot make impact, especially looking into the changes now took place, the changes with the new generation in our workforce, the changes of the healthcare challenges itself, the technology and so on, and the need of empowering and engaging the staff and moving them from bureaucratic to innovation and learning organization. And this is really important. And we saw this needs now, especially with the current challenges we are facing. Every day a new thing's happening. Every day a new challenge we are facing in our business in general, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in the social context of our communities. And therefore, we need to have a different environment. Leadership is not about limited information. I used to see leaders who just keep information for themselves only. They don't share it. They don't create an environment that can foster learning, can foster knowledge exchange, and that's make this really a difficult situation. So. And that's what we say, we need to move to more of transparency and exchanging knowledge. Leadership, in my humble opinion, is not about charisma and style. Leadership is about being real, being authentic, being positive. As much as a leader is real, as much as presenting him or herself in real demonstration and positive, with positive outlook, as much as the impact it takes place. So this is the views that I see it's been changed, and actually we need to go through this change to make the difference as per the anecdotal experience. And eventually, leadership is not about self-interest anymore. Leadership is about collaboration and person-centered care, service concept, service to the clients, service to our patients and family, service to our staff, service to the organization. Is not anymore about self-interest. It's not anymore it's I. It is all about we. And that's how leadership is really moving forward. I may jump, but I may give highlights about the importance of what we call how to lead yourself firstly, because when we speak about leadership transformation or transformational leadership, you are going to be to make impact on others, on your staff, on your organization. But what's about yourself? So therefore, as a leader should start the transformation from his own self or herself. And that's by looking into how I transform as a leader, as a person. How I'm looking myself when it comes to my ability to deal with emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman stated that 80% of the competency that needed for any leader is about emotional intelligence. It's about the ability of this leader to have self-awareness, being aware about his or her emotion, being aware about his motives, his intrinsic motivation, his what we call sweet spot, being able to have strong emotional self-awareness. And this is really important. If a transformational leader unable to see his own or her self-emotion and to control it, he or she cannot manage, cannot move people forward. And the other competency, which also important as Daniel Goleman, is the self-management. A transformational leader is a leader who has ability to have self-management, has ability to control his emotion in difficult situation, meeting challenges and making difference. And that kind of leader with this competency has ability to have what we call adaptability. If a change takes place, or maybe as you remember, 2000, all the world was before 2000 quiet until COVID-19 change and shake the entire market of healthcare, perhaps in the entire social life of people. Here is a major change. And if a leader has no ability to have what we call self-management, he or she will not be able to adapt. And therefore, this is really essential. And have ability of achievements. In order to go for transformation, the mindset of leader should be a mindset of, yes, I want to achieve, has that what we call a passion of doing something and achieve and make results. Positive outlook is very important. A leader, transformational leader, cannot be a negative mindset. It should be a positive, a person who has a positive outlook, has ability to be optimistic during the crisis, has ability to vibes this positive emotions, because our emotions are contingent. If a leader has what we call stress and being in his own crisis and unable to present that positivity to his or her staff, the staff, of course, they cannot be motivated and they cannot go through the change and transformation. And this is a very important element. Social awareness. As a transformational leader should have ability to have what we call social awareness, should be able to have what we call empathy and have organizational awareness. Empathy has a 3 category, has ability to have what we call cognitive empathy and emotional empathy, where he or she has the ability to step into the other people's situation or line and feel what actually going on and recognize what their needs and do what we call empathetic concern. So therefore, empathy for leaders are very essential, especially when it comes to transformation. Transformational leader should have the ability to have that radar of reading what's going on among within his staff member, or perhaps what's going on around the organization, and then what kind of factors impacting the organization, and have this ability of awareness. And this is really important. When leader has this leader will be able to have what we call relationship management, has ability to build relation, to work with the interdisciplinary team, multidisciplinary team, to build those kind of environment which can flourish collaboration, flourish teamwork within the organization. So these are very important elements of self-leadership transformation. So to move from non-EQ leader to an EQ leader, a leader with emotional intelligence, a leader who's able to foster change and make difference. I'm going to highlight here, when any leader has this ability of focusing on self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management, this leader will form a strong, positive mindset. He or she will have ability to have what we call positive attitude. The positive attitude causes a chain reaction of positive thoughts, events, and outcomes. Because if you have positive attitude, positive thinking, your acts, your interactions, your communication going to be accordingly. And this is really important. So as a leader, in order to make change, transform, impact, you need to have this ability in terms of being able to have positive outlook. So, and that's what helps you to build what we call positive environment. People with positive energy and relationship energy are 4 times more likely to succeed. This is very true. So in order to go for magnet is not just a transformation. No, magnet is changing the entire mindset of business delivery within healthcare. It's not only about nursing, but about the whole organizational change. And therefore, in order to move to that status, to that recognition, you need to go through building a strong positive environment. One of the facts that God Almighty created us with what we call positivity. Kim Cameron, he's a professor who have interest and focus on something called organizational virtuousness. He concluded his research by saying that any organization practice kindness, practice positivity, this organization are more likely to be succeed, more likely to make achievements, more likely to retain their staff and grow them, more likely to have what we call less punitive culture. So people, they'll be transparent, people, they will be empowered, and so on. And I think in order to go for any change, you need to focus on building this kind of environment. Transformational leadership, in order to start, a leader should start with a clear vision, realization, has the ability to look into the vision, has the ability to look into what we want to go with this vision, where we are going with this vision, and moving forward. So I have a note here that the slides are not shared. So let me go back. To take you more from the theoretical component and the concepts into a practical experience we had here at Dr. Suleiman Faqih Hospital in Jeddah. So during 2020, the time when we joined the organization, that was, I may say it's a fortunate or unfortunate time, but the whole world was busy with the new virus that actually spread threats, spread the instability and very unpredictable future of where we are going with healthcare. So at that time, we put our energy and our plan to go for Magnet. At the starter of the year 2020, we invited a Magnet consultant to go through the change. That was my first time, or actually it was my first year of the experience with Dr. Suleiman Faqih. After we done the assessment, I said, oh my God, we're really having a big gap. So that, let's speak about January, February, we were not really clear about what's going on with COVID-19, but in March, we start to hear about COVID. At the same time, we already put our attention and focus to go through the Magnet transformation. So this was a major change in my career. And I always remember the famous quote which says, life is what happened to you while you are planning to do or doing something else. You know, sometimes when you put a plan to do something and then something crosses your line, that is exactly the real life. That there where we need a crisis management, you need to have a vision and trust. So it was really a challenge to me. So the only way to go is trying to focus on how I can make an environment which can make everybody work and focus. And that's with my colleagues. We put a plan on that. We look into the needed component, the needed force of Magnet, and what we need. I said we cannot do anything without making a real environment that where people can be can feel positive, can feel you know, like they are engaged, they are taken care of, and that's where we put our mindset at the start. So, but in order to go through this, we need to focus on why we want to go for change. So we put lots of energy on the strategic tactics by aligning our DNA when it comes to the vision, mission, and values into everything we do. Normally, in my previous experiences, what we used to do, you know, like when we want nurses to realize the vision and mission, we ask nurses to memorize what is the vision and what's the mission of the organization. But you know, if you want to go on Magnet, you need to make sure that every single nurse is comprehending what is their role in achieving this vision and mission and the strategic objectives. And that was a challenge to us. The time was COVID time with its own stresses and its impact. At the same time, we need to have that clarity. So therefore, we done lots of exercise, which I'm going to show you more. But to go more deeper into the concept of alignment as a leader, we need to focus on that when it comes to the transformational leadership component of Magnet. So what we done something called cascade. So we cascade the entire vision and mission and the strategic objectives, direction of the organization into a practical tactics that all our levels of leadership, from the chief, from the nursing clinical directors, from the managers, and even from the individual staff and the unit-based councils, where every single person group have a focus and affiliation in meeting this strategic objectives and the vision and mission. So this is what they call it, a vision and a strategic objective alignment. And in order to go for the change, you need to start with this. And I see it like the head for the body. If body has no head, no eyes, no senses, then the whole body will not be able to move forward. And then during the pandemic, I thought I need to have more attention to what's going on with COVID-19. At the same time, to the challenges we are facing. During 2020, we were actually planning to achieve from almost 9 different accreditations we have. At the same time, the staff shortage, the crisis itself of pandemic. Moreover, we are working on future projects like Magnet and other projects we have. So therefore, I thought I need to do what we call Apple fashion of change management. So you remember Apple and Nokia. Now, where is Apple and where is Nokia? Nokia used to be one day a star of mobile technology in the world, and now they are just gone. And Apple come all the way, and it's really escalating. And if I ask you now a question and you're able to answer me, how many of you holding Nokia phone? Maybe I will challenge, maybe zero. The reason why Apple work on something called exploitation and exploration. They were fixing and changing in the day-to-day issues of their products and development. At the same time, they were looking into what's going to come after 5 and 10 years, and they were preparing for that. And therefore, all of a sudden, they come with a huge transformation and they make change. While Nokia, at that time, when they were in their golden time, they were busy with exploitation. They were busy with what we call day-to-day issues. They were changing Nokia 10, Nokia 11, and so on, but they were not going in advance. They were not preparing what's going to come in future. And therefore, as soon as the change come from Apple, everything changed. So I use this concept in my leadership so I can focus on the challenges of COVID. I can focus on the bland accreditations we have, Sibahi, GCI, we have baby-friendly accreditation, HIMSS accreditation, what we call a Blantyre accreditation. So we have a list of accreditations. We need to achieve it. At the same time, I have a strategic recognition that I need to work. So therefore, I put a team, a separate team to focus on Magnet and its own tactics and needs. And also I make a separate team to work and focus on the day-to-day issues. So that's helped me to balance between focusing on future in terms of exploration and current in terms of the day-to-day issues and exploitation, as this slide shows. Maybe the slide's a little bit narrow, but I divided the task and the focus on a specific component of what we need to fix and also to look into the future. Here, actually, example of how we keep the momentum during the COVID. So during the COVID, in terms of building the positive environment, building the environment of compassion among staff, we had like leadership visibility, leadership round, recognition, trying to celebrate. Even with patients with COVID, we used to celebrate their birthdays and supporting nurses, making activities, engaging them in different activities. And that's just to keep the momentum. Positivity during crisis really matters. Positivity is help in terms of making people focus and actually engaged. This is part of our leadership round and engaging with the staff, celebrating the international days in different category, and making people to leave. Yes, we do have crisis, but we are going into major transformation and change. National nursing growth was one of the exploration tasks we put forward. In order to foster your workforce and make your workforce agile, you need to strengthen the national nursing. Whether you're working in Saudi Arabia, whether you're working in Philippines, whether you're working everywhere, you need to focus on building the capacity of the national nurses there and engage them with the international and make them able to work hand by hand with in what we call in a global mindset, not just in the singular mindset, but in the global mindset of how they can learn from others and get actually grow. And therefore, we started something called Transition to Practice program, which helped the graduate nurses after they graduate to go for almost 6 months intensive residency program, objectively made to achieve certain specialty and empower those novice nurses and becoming a strong, confident nurses after they graduate. And this is part of our journey. So we used to celebrate this, and we're still doing this as now we graduated 2 batch and we are going into the 3rd batch. And also part of our journey to excellence, we are going to apply for a transition to practice, ANCC accreditation, which is going to take place very soon, inshallah. Collaboration and interdisciplinary engagement. This is very important. If we remember in the characteristic of transformational leadership, and a leader, you need to have the ability to engage your staff with other specialties. Nurses should not work alone, should not work in unity, should not work on just we are only a discipline. No, we are shaping a care, we are shaping a experience. So therefore, we need to work with all our colleagues in different specialty in a collaborative mindset to make sure that this is done. We establish different interdisciplinary or collaborative practices council, like nursing and pharmacy collaborative council, laboratory and nursing collaborative council, and so on, to make sure our nurses are engaging. So nurses and other departments or other specialty, they don't go like we and them rather than all we. So, and this is a major component for any transformation in the journey of Magnet or any other transformation or change actually we are fostering in nursing. Ongoing reflective sessions. We put lots of energy and focus on making different programs for leadership development for our senior leader and for our mid-manager level, as well as our emerging leaders, for those leaders, for those nurses who are in charge nurse level and those who are in the career ladder of being in a leadership role. So all these levels of our staff, they've been engaged in different leadership courses, leadership rounds, leadership, we call also reflective session, where we are sitting together and reflect on certain leadership issues, trying to learn from the experiences and so on. This is in line with our formal certifications program. As you know, at Faqih Care, we do have a college. And in this college, we are now providing a number of certification programs as part of our magnet and structural empowerment. If you want to empower your nurses to become strong, they need to be strong in terms of knowledge and competency, which can help them to make difference and change in people's life and in their organization in general. So this part of our ongoing activities, building a team, we call them Magnet Champions. So that's part of exploration. Because if I want to focus for both, for the future and now, we need to have separate team tools. So therefore, we develop what we call Magnet Champions, and those are our enablers, nurses who are actually fostering, and they make huge change in the last few years. And we are so proud of them and so proud of the changes they make and the milestone and the achievements, which we're going to highlight more of this achievement now. Person-centered care initiatives, we put more focus on compassion and empathy and connecting with patients in those momentum. That's part of our person-centered care, and our professional practice model has huge focus on person-centered care. And in order to achieve person-centered care, we need to keep what we call human-centric approach in the way in our day-to-day work, in our learning, in our interactions, and therefore we put lots of energy on this. Here, the other example is building our professional practice model, and it's part of Magnet. In order to go for change, you need to have a model. This model which keep you intact, engaged on scientific modality of the practice of nursing. So nurses, when they practice, they know they practice based on what, why, and so on. So therefore, we build our professional practice model by having strong engagement of our nurses at the bedside to be part of this journey, where they were able to engage in building the capacity and building the model. We done some competition for the best model until we reach out to this final, where, as you see, the model is actually making everything in one. We can see the hands representing the vision, the mission, as well as the values of the organization. and our focus in terms of the global health issues, particularly with the experience of COVID-19 and other global issues. Now it's actually threatening the world. So therefore, we would focus on how we can link our nurses with what's happening globally. In addition, we put more energy and focus on our 2030 focus of healthcare transformation. That's population and community health management, as well as empowering nursing workforce. One of the mandate of 2030 vision is empowering the nursing workforce to make a nursing workforce trouble time in terms of quantitative numbering, as well as to make more work on improving and empowering their quality outcome. And this is very, very profound in our strategic objectives of Faqih Care here, and therefore we align it with what we do in our nursing practice model, as you see. And of course, in the middle, we put the magnet forces: transformational leadership, research and innovation, professional practice outcome, as well as quality and patient safety. So we found that this is very important. And the most important thing is that everything we do should have exemplary professional outcomes. So we're not doing something just for the sake of doing it, but we do this based on scientific ground, based on data, which we are expecting an outcome out of this practice or intervention or perhaps change we do. And all this should be focused on what we call person-centered care, in terms of focusing on our human-centric, our staff, our patients, and their families. We go more. This also shows some of the list of projects we done. We put many projects and initiatives with the specific measures and championship among our nurses, leaders, frontliner, so to make sure that the engagement take place. And this is part of the transformational leadership. Transformational leadership, when you align everything you do with the vision, mission, and the strategic objectives of the organization in a tangible and factual outcome. And this is actually what we are doing with this activities. This also here another examples of some of the projects and initiatives where nurses are all engaged in different specialty, in different unit-based council to make sure that the alignment and the engagement take place in terms of structural empowerment. To go more, structural empowerment when it comes to the concept of shared governance is one of the essential components of Magnet. And this where it gives nurses to make something called shared governance. So the nurses are engaged in sharing the governance, sharing the management, sharing the change, sharing the power. And therefore we establish a unit-based councils model, and this built by our nurses, by our team in different workshops, until we come up with this specific model that to make sure that we align and engage all our nursing units. They are communicating and sharing their opinions, sharing their initiatives in a council base, and this council goes in a form of quality, patient safety, person-centered care council, and professional development council, research and innovation council, and new knowledge, as well as resource utilization councils. So we make sure that these councils are represented by our staff, nurses, frontliner, and shared by them, and making difference and engaged. We build this in a teamwork fashion, so we have like team building to make this, where we go outside of the business time and get this with the great fun and entertainments to make sure that it's meeting and matching the interest and the needs of our current generation. At the same time, giving them ability to make difference and change in this journey. So that's kind of engagement took place. This is showing some examples of the unit-based council. One of the unit-based council, which we call a Professional Development Council. So you can see here how we make the alignment, the vision, the mission, the strategic directive that align with this, and then here around this, around the model where we see the expected outcome. And therefore, by doing this, we'll get people engaged with the whole tactics of the organization in terms of the mission and vision. And that's what we call transformational leadership. Here is some examples of a strong, senior committees where our frontliner nurses are member. We have nurses now. We have staff nurse who's member in IRB committee. We have staff nurses member in hospital infection control committee. We have staff nurses, and here I don't mean manager or chief or CND. No, staff nurses are member on person-centered care committee, where it's led by the CEO. We have the scientific committee. Also, we have nurses. The frontliner nurses are members. So this part of the structural empowerment, where nurses they get engaged in different committees, align with shared governance committee. This is also some of our activities we do in building the capacity of organizational learning culture, where we have like safety bid huddle, where nurses are engaged. And now after COVID, we learn how to utilize efficiently Zoom and Teams online platform for this gathering. So we gather in semi-weekly manner to discuss some patient safety and issues in terms of real experience, real practices, and real examples from nurses. And it's a global share, so all nurses attending and sharing the knowledge. We do have something called peer review as part of our journey, where nurses are reviewing each other in terms of their performance in certain competencies, and these competencies are all aligned with our transformational leadership competencies that needed, particularly the component of emotional intelligence, the component of initiatives and engagement and so on. So this peer review are essential. It works in line with how nurses they see each other, they see their practices from different views, and how actually they constructively critique these practices and giving feedback to each other and making action plan accordingly. And this peer review goes in all levels, nurses, general frontliners. It goes in leadership level as well, to make sure that we have what we call learning culture. And also we established something called nurse manager exchange rule. Sometimes if you are managing one unit for years, you may just able to see your unit from two view only. But what we done now, we are doing some exchange, like the nurse manager of medical ward can move to the surgical ward for a specific period of time to exchange the role, to see the area from different angle, and then they give feedback to each other afterward. So this kind of exchanging knowledge, exchanging experiences, as well as seeing our world from different angle, and this is all part of transformational leadership and making difference and engagement. Clinical resource nurses, we establish a clinical resource nurse as the first time in our hospital. We promoted those caliber and qualified nurses to be in this role, and they've been engaged in intensive training for this, and now they graduated and they're ready to run the show as a clinical resource nurse, where they're supporting advanced clinical practice at the same time teaching at the bedside. We have something called workplace as internal platform for enhancing our internal communication, and this giving us ability. All nurses, they are presenting in a virtual world. They have their committees, they have their councils, unit-based councils, they have their departmental group, and they chat business, social communication, and we celebrate some momentum, we share experiences, we share knowledge, scientific, some talk, live presentation, and this is actually for the entire Faqih care staff, not only nurses, but we found it really useful in empowering the communication, especially by engaging nurses for this. Recently also, we were able to achieve ANCC, our first milestone in Magnet. So ANCC accreditation for our professional continuous education. Now Faqih Care becoming a accredited organization as the first private sector in the kingdom and the second sector and the second healthcare sector within the kingdom to receive such prestigious and professional recognition as ANCC accredited for continuous professional development. Now all our educational activities here at DSFH are accredited in America by ANCC. So those who wish to work there, they can get our training here, they get ours accredited as we are applying the evidence-based practices that actually guided by ANCC for this effect. And we are looking for the second recognition for our transition to practice program, inshallah, and then follow it by our magnet accreditation, where we already put the application, alhamdulillah, successfully, and looking forward early next year for the visit. Professional organization subscription, we had also all our units, we gave them access to International Society of Nursing in different specialty to make sure that they are globalized link. This is some examples of our some of the education and what we call certification program we do for like wound management. And now we have about 16 different certification program our nurses are undertaking. We graduated the first group and they are now all qualified as certified in different specialty by our college. And now the second batch are running this actually journey as well. There's some examples of building positive environment in terms of DAISY Award and so on. We also convert our learning from traditional competency to living code competency. So we do it more with the updated, at the same time, high-tech technology. So our nurses, they will be engaged and they have it with the profound experiences. This is some of the examples of the certification program we have, which is delivered by our nursing college. Renal dialysis program, certification program, where we get our staff, we engage them, they get certified by, and they become a professional renal dialysis provider, nurses. This transition to practice program, we already highlighted this. Research, we agreed last year that we're going to finish 5 research, and now we're done. In 2020, alhamdulillah, 2021, we accomplished 5 researches, and now it's in the process of publication. And for this year, we also determined the 5 new research topic for every service line, and we are looking forward to achieve them. And this will give us ability by the starter of Magnet visit. We done with 10 research, and inshallah all going to be published. Nursing Symposium, we do have annual Nursing Symposium to make sure that the scientific growth going on. Shout out is part of building and spreading the compassion and healing during the units, and this is all part of the engagement and making more of excitement and positive environment. This about DAISY Award. Also, we put something that to focus on person-centered care, where we put here from nursing in every patient room a signage that has information and access to the CNO and the nursing supervisor, where patients can express his need immediately. And that's helped a lot our nurses to achieve their goals, and also help nurses, especially of those who are not able to speak Arabic. So it's easy for the CNO to get engaged. At the same time, it helped in reducing lots of complaint and help nurses to engage more, and also added more positivity in terms of patients satisfaction. Here is some of the example of our president's engagement with us in the activity by spreading the acknowledgement of nurses' performance and thanking them, expressing his appreciation. Blantyre is another accreditation we are working, and we are finally going to go through the visit very soon in the next 3 months, inshallah, after almost 1 year of preparation. this some of the examples of achievement of accreditation. We also finished in 2020. By end of 2020, we accomplished our BICSIS as a transforming our medication dispensing delivery approach, and also barcoding. So all these two transition took place in 1 year during this difficult time, and now we are 100% working with barcode system, complete system, paperless system. In most of our work, we are paperless. Also we engaged in supporting the community during COVID-19 for the vaccine and what we call a BCR test. And this also, you can see some of the nurses here with us in Riyadh and attending a meeting for training for this effect. We also extending our support to the orphan here, where we published something called Nursing Community Murua program to train some of the orphans in some activities like home care nursing, like healthcare provider within the hospital, patient escort training program. So to give them ability to get knowledge and the skills and then to hire them here. And this is something that really we feel proud of. Just to final this speech by showing some of the impact, our NQI becoming really shines. So we remember during COVID-19 pandemic that we were really dropping in most of our the parameters of our quality indicators. We were almost 66%. Alhamdulillah, we done with all these activities and the support of everybody, we were able to shine to 91, 92%, 93 in the second quarter. We got third quarter of 2021, alhamdulillah, also 92. So we are escalating in our patient safety and quality indicators, the improvement going and buying off. Our breast gain also, alhamdulillah, escalating and buying off. We are working hard to improve more our RN survey results, and inshallah we're going to shine more for the next run of our RN survey. To finalize this, the overall learning I had in this 2 years with this experience, that in order to flourish positive environment and make change as a transformational leader, you need to make sure that to make sure that people are working in an environment of compassion and positivity. And there is more of what we call clear goals for people. There is clear strategic direction. There is autonomy in terms of shared governance, supporting them, giving this generation ability to speak up, ability to raise their concerns, give immediate feedback to people in terms of acknowledgement, DAISY award, certification, and appreciation rounding. And this is very important by also empowering their skills and knowledge. Accept and value people without harshing and criticism. We need to build an environment of globalization and diversity among nurses, and also to flourish what we call virtuous practices in terms of kindness, kind practice, compassion practice, lead with empathy, lead by love, and all this kind. This is needed in any change. Try to see as a leader the potential in your nurses. You cannot develop them if you don't see them potential. And always I say that as a leader, we need to remain calm under pressure, especially with crisis. And that's how it helps us to be agile and to have what we call resilience during and in front of any challenge that may cross our line. We need to be able to listen to our staff. And when we dialogue with them, we dialogue with empathy, and always, most importantly, to keep access, to be visible, to be accessible to your staff. Here, I would like actually to say thank you very much for your kind attention, and as this presentation is more of showing a practical experience rather than something that scientifically, and thankfully for my colleague for covering the scientific component. And now we show you some of the examples of how transformational leaders can do. But in order to be transformational, you need to work with emotional intelligence. You need to have these 4 components: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship management. You need to be able to build a positive environment by spreading kindness and virtuousness and compassion, and become an empathetic leader, where you lead with empathy, so people, they can lean to you, people, they can engage and understand, and becoming a force with you in the changes. As a leader, transformational leader, you need to focus on vision and mission. And that's how to help you to cascade everything in this component for the day-to-day work for our nurses, whether at the bedside or perhaps in different committees and councils. These activities are all not a work of the leader, but this is all a work of the collective nurses in this organization, who actually believe in change, who they have a strong ability and breadth to make difference for Faqih care. Thank you again for your attention, and sorry for the technical component and realization of the slides were not really shared at the start. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmad Omar Hausawi, for inspiring our fellow nurses and aspiring leaders. May you continue your great influence to the upcoming generations. I agree with you when you said that this pandemic is causing an impact in the magnet accreditation process because we are focusing on the COVID challenges. But positivity from our leaders will conquer these issues and help change in the organization. That is what we call transformational leadership. To the participants, we hope that through this lecture, you've had a grasp of the journey of magnet excellence, and may this help you understand and appreciate the role of a leader in our healthcare setting. We will now move on to the next portion of the program.
Before we start, we would like to thank everyone who participated in this webinar. We would now proceed to the most exciting part of our program, the question and answer portion. We have collated some of the questions that were asked when you registered for the webinar. Our dear guest speakers will be answering them now. Also, for those who have questions, you can still send your questions to the Q&A section or comment section, and we will try to address them to our guest speakers. Please include to whom the questions are addressed. So, all right, to begin, we have our first question from Ms. Joem Lasafin, a registered nurse in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and this question is addressed to Sir Ahmad.
Thank you, Sir Ahmed, for the enlightening presentation about the transformational leadership. I have a question for you. So I'd like to ask, what are the challenges today's leaders are facing in healthcare system, and what are the needs of these leaders who can transform these challenges into opportunities?
Well, thank you very much for your questions. Actually, the first challenge is the changes now we have in leadership. The changes that took place when it comes to the changes within the environment of healthcare, whether it's about the diversity of different complex diseases, whether the demand of healthcare and the challenge of population management. At the same time, also having a new generation, millennials as well as the Z generation, and their needs and demands, and how the importance of leadership to change their mindset into this. The last important things here is actually the challenge of meeting the challenge of needing to be transformed, because as we see now in the last 15-20 years, all things have happened in terms of sudden change that needed. You can remember just when the normal computer started, and now nobody using desktop. Majority of people, they're using, for instance, mobile in many communication. Email is not that much common. People, they use WhatsApp. So therefore, we need to be also able to have that resilience and agility to align with this change, so we can make and foster impact within healthcare.
All right, thank you, Sir Ahmad, for that awesome answer. And I hope Ms. Joanne Lasafin that answers your question. Next question is Miss Nurfa Maing, also a registered nurse in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And the question is addressed to Dr. Monalinda Makantal Makawad.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Nurfa Akimuddin Maing, currently working here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as a registered nurse. And I have a question for Dr. Monalinda. Ma'am, what is the key to being a good leader and what are the qualities to be a good follower?
Thank you so much, Ms. Nur Fatma. Actually, Ms. Nur Fatma is one of my former colleagues in Security Forces Hospital, Makkah. So, Nur Fatma, I do believe that the most important key to be a good leader is to have the caring values. Caring is therefore very powerful leadership trait that it is reciprocal in nature. When leaders care about their workers and show it to their workers, team members feel this warmth, belongingness, and connection. This ultimately enables them to embrace the goals of the organization, become engaged, inspired, and actively contribute to the organizational outcomes. As followers, being part of a team and recognizing how your role contributes to the success of the department is a fundamental step in eventually being able to ascend into a position of leadership. Regardless, you don't necessarily have to be in leadership position to develop or demonstrate the traits that make a good leader. Let me share 5 of the skills that make professionals effective followers and will take you far in your career, regardless of whether you aspire to be a leader or to be in leadership role. These are the 5 skills. First, interdependent critical thinking, strong listening skills, work well collaboratively, motivation and drive, and last but not the least, creativity. Again, don't forget the caring values of a nurse. Either you are a leader or a follower. Again, thank you so much and God bless everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Monalinda, for that answer. I hope Dr. Monalinda answers your question, Ms. Nurfa. So we have another question from Ms. Anna Malubay, a registered nurse in KSA. This is a question for Mr. Ahmad Omar Hausawi.
Thank you, Sir Ahmed, for that very informative presentation about transformational leadership. By the way, I am Anna Malubay, currently working as a registered nurse here in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And my question is, how would you describe the steps of strategic planning of a transformational leadership and how to mobilize talented individuals and teams to move initiatives through a system responding to continual change and new demands? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your question. In regard to the strategic planning for a transformational leader, should focus on firstly, the vision and the mission of the organization. And then understand comprehensively their strategic direction, and then the strategic objectives, and then understand his or her role in the strategic initiatives which can lead and support this strategic directive. And then based on this, engage the entire nursing team of understanding this, as well as building initiatives which can support these initiatives, the main initiatives for nursing, and that where we call it a cascade of the initiatives. So this cascade will go from division to the level of section, then to the level of unit, then to the level of the individual nurses. So here where you see nurses, the transformational leader is transforming the strategic objectives from a set of vision and mission and written statement into a practical But all these initiatives should be based on a specific KPI and a specific metrics. So the transformational leader will be able to see the progress and also have benchmarking while his or her is achieving and supporting the overall strategic vision of the organization. The second part of your question is regard how the transformational leader able to support or mobilize the energy of his staff forward in terms of achieving the goal. Firstly, the leader should be able to have self-awareness. The leader should be able to have self-awareness in terms of emotional awareness, his passion or her passion, his interest, his emotional in terms of being positive, able to foster positivity. Second, the leader should be having ability of managing himself, managing his emotion, able to be adaptable, able to be understandable, and having what we call positive mindset, positive outlook. Third, the leader should be empathetic, should be able to have ability we call it social awareness, to understand his staff, to understand his or her staff, their feelings, their needs. So then when he or she able to understand, will be able to make what we call empathetic action and support them, give them the right resources and give them the emotional and other needed demands that they actually need in order to achieve their goal. And finally, a leader should be able to maintain his or her relationship with his and her staff and other member of the hospital, especially doctors and other alike, to make sure nurses are within the team, are in collaboration. And this how can help a leader to support the staff in making change and helping to transform any service.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmad Omar Hausawi. So we have another question it will be coming from Ms. Chahara Mizalawan, a student nurse from Mindanao State University main campus. This is a question for Dr. Manilinda Makaantal Makawatid.
Thank you so much po, Ma'am Mona, for that very informative presentation about transformational leadership in nursing. So, by the way, I am Johara C. Mizalawan, student nurse at Mindanao State University main campus. So, I have a question for Dr. Manalinda Makawarib. Hi po, Ma'am. So, my question is, what advice do you have for young future leaders on how to deal with failure during their leadership experiences? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mizulawan. I am surprised. Actually, Ms. Mizulawan is one of my students in Mindanao State University, Marawi City. So with regards to her question, what advice do you have for young future leaders on how to deal with failure during their leadership experiences? Okay. Always remember that transformational leaders are often described as extroverted, open to new experiences, charismatic, secure in their sense of self, creative, and future-oriented in vision. When you experience failure in your leadership, that's okay. Always bear in mind that you are a leader because you love to lead. Challenges motivates you, and you want to create change. Therefore, you need to continue on setting your goals, and staying focused is one of the approaches to keep yourself motivated to continue. Establishing goal provides you with a cause and moving toward the goal, and can give you a positive reinforcement. When we focus on a goal, we're less likely to get sidetracked by non-essential work. And don't underestimate fear as a motivating factor. Fear of failure can often motivate us to accomplish our goals. So, take failure as your motivator. Again, thank you so much. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mona Linda. I will take that note. Failure should be our motivation. We have another question from Ms. Sharifa Deyakat, another student nurse from Mindanao State University. And this time, the question is addressed to Mr. Ahmad Omar Hausal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmad Umar Hausawi, for imparting to us your knowledge regarding transformational leadership. So, I am Sharafa Diakat, a student nurse from MSU main campus, and actually have a question. So, what is the most exciting and challenging part of aiming magnet excellence among nurses, and how does it help us prepare us student nurses to be exceptional leaders in the future? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. This is very nice question. The most excitement time for magnet is when we achieve it. In fact, I may argue it's the journey itself. But of course, when you work hard to achieve something, the moment of having that achievement already in your hand, that's the most exciting moment. But we discovered this excitement really early at the starter of our journey. We found out that what we are doing is paying off in our day-to-day work, is paying off in our clinical outcome, is paying off in our staffing satisfaction, patient satisfaction. And also this is be recognized by our colleagues from other units. So I think this is the most excitement momentums of being in magnet journey or achieving magnet eventually. For the other part of the questions, what's for the new generation as a student, I think having a fantastic question from a student like yourself now, it gives me a great hope. And that's the hope of excellence. Magnet is all about excellence. When we believe in excellence, we actually magnet by nature, because excellence means that everything we do it with the anticipation of an outcome. If I give any service to the patients, if I if I give patient injection to relieve his or her pain, what I'm expecting an outcome, relieving of that pain, patient satisfaction, improving his or her quality of life. This is all about magnet. Magnet, it's all about the staff satisfaction. They are able to work with leaders who help them to be transformed, engage them, listen from them, having ability of working in an environment of safety and positivity and love and compassion. And I think that's what the interest of our new generation and the coming generation. So congratulations for having this such thought and such a great question. And I wish you guys, you and everybody here listening in such a great conference, all the success in their journey to excellence.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Ahmad. All right, so those are some of the questions raised. Now let's try to address some of the questions from our social media pages. We have a question here from Julius Mon Calmira Fuentes of Mindanao State University. And the question is addressed to Dr. Mona Linda Makawati. So I'll just read it out. How a transformational nursing leader become effective nowadays, considering factors of culture, religion, hierarchical power, and influences in the system?
Thank you so much for this very interesting question. First, I'd like to answer with regards to culture and religion. We need to bear in mind that culture competence comprises 4 components, and this can be applied to religion point of view. First, awareness of one's own culture, worldview, and religious belief. Second, attitude towards culture and religious differences. Third, knowledge of different cultural practices and worldviews, as well as knowledge to one's religion. And fourth, cross-cultural skills. The goal of culturally competent healthcare service is to provide the highest quality of care to every patient, regardless of race, ethnicity, or cultural background. In terms of the hierarchy of power, Dr. Tim Porter O'Grady, a clinical professor and leadership scholar at The Ohio University, developed a shared governance model that turned hierarchical structure into flat. The centralized system where decision-making power lies in the hands of those who are most affected by the decision. Example, nurses at the bedside rather than with senior leadership. I hope that answers the question. Thank you so much and God bless.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona, for that answer. We have another question. This is coming from a YouTube channel. This is another platform from our live sessions. From Miss Sama Sulaiman. This is a question for Mr. Ahmad Hausawi. This is a question. Is the archiving of any accreditation considered an empirical outcome? Sorry, I will just repeat the question. Is the archiving of any accreditation considered an empirical outcome? Mr. Ahmad?
Okay. Archiving any accreditation, archiving mean to, well, if I understand the word of archiving, that's mean the previous accreditations. Well, of course, anything we do, anything we done is matter in healthcare, meaning what we done should pay off an outcome. This outcome, whether if we say we are accredited Sipahi, before we accredited Sipahi, we were in this status, and now after Sipahi, we became in this status. This is an outcome. And this Sipahi is already became an archive, like a past experience, yet the impact is continuing. And therefore, anything we do, any accreditation we done, it should leave an outcome. Perhaps this outcome need more of refreshment to make sure that we are on the right track, or maybe need some updates, or maybe needs what we call re-accreditation. So it keep us in the same line of the guideline objective that's put forward. So yes, anything that's been done, any accreditation being done has an important value when it comes to the outcome, whether by direct impact or by renewal impact. I hope I satisfy the question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ahmad Omar Hausawi. So,
I have another question, and this time from South Africa, actually. This is from Maria Socorro Turingan Mayores of Zone Medical and Interventions Hospital, and this is for Dr. Mona Linda. The question goes like this. What is the impact of transformational leadership in nursing during this time of pandemic?
Thank you so much for this very timely question. Actually, during this time of pandemic, transformational leadership in nursing has a great impact. We, nurses, are recognized by the media, by the government, and everyone in the community as frontliners in caring for all types of patients, especially for patients with COVID-19. In this time of uncertainty, leaders must be a transformational leader that utilizes a collaborative leadership style that leverages a shared vision to win against COVID-19 pandemic. Encourage and inspire nurses to work selflessly, not just to earn for a living, but to be able to care for their patients, even they know that their health and their family's health might be at risk. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona. We have another question. This is coming from Maria Loida Johnson Chicano of King Fahad Medical City from Riyadh, KSA. This is a question for Mr. Ahmad Hausawi. Sir, how effective is transformational leadership in nursing if the staff is already burned out due to staff shortage? And how do we achieve magnet excellence in relation to staff shortage?
Thank you very much. Well, staff shortage is a chronic problem in nursing. Yet there's many strategic transformational leader can work to either decrease the impact of staff shortage, so this shortage will not reach to burnout level. Firstly, we need to foster what we call flow. Flow means to keep nurses to work with that moderate stress, but with high performance. Because if the person work with constant stress, the performance will go down. And in order to help nurses to get away from the constant stress, we need to do the following. Firstly, nurses, they need to have immediate feedback on their positive sides of their performance, as well as they need to have strong visibility of leadership. A leader should leave their offices, should be always around nurses. But being there, I mean, with leader here is not, when we say transformational leader, does not mean that we are not meaning the chief nursing officer alone, but any person has a leader responsibility among nurses should act as a transformational leader. So leadership visibility is essential, from the chief nursing officer, from the managers, from CMDs, from directors, and so on. Nurses, when they see leader around them, supporting them, this will make really difference. Appreciation and acknowledgement is essential. Education and training is essential. Most importantly, having access to nurses to speak up, to raise their concern, and leaders have ability to listen. Listening is really essential. People sometimes, when they have a leader who are fostering compassion and what we call kindness, they're really practicing well, even with the challenges. And we encountered this during the pandemic, in the middle of the pandemic, last in 2020, where we had a acute shortage. With that acute intensity of lifestyle we had during the pandemic and its impact, yet we put a lot of energy on compassion and empathy. And that's require a lot of focus on the human needs. In order to lead human, we need to lead by human means and ways. So that's I think that's what helped. And lastly, we need to work in with real example and real practice of supporting nurses shortage, hiring, engaging nurses for this, bringing nurses, trying to find some allowances, financial support, promotion, finding a way where we can say thank you, as well as you are important to us. At the same time, working on adding more nurses. Think about the care delivery system. Change your care delivery system. Don't stick on one way of lead or care delivery system. You can change. You have functional nursing, you have primary nursing. So change depends on the situation that can help you to meet the challenge of the burnout or perhaps the shortage that's there. Leadership, care delivery system in our nursing practices is really essential and really helpful. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Sir Ahmad Hausawi, for that answer. We have another question from South Africa. This is from Tumiso Class Kineka of Petersburg Hospital. And the question is addressed to Dr. Mona Linda. How do we ensure that all leaders empower nurses to be independent?
Thank you so much for this very interesting question. So how do we ensure that all leaders empower nurses to be independent? There are 3 ways to ensure that leaders empower nurses to be independent. First, providing leadership development. I do believe in the saying that you cannot give what you don't have. As many experts say, that leadership skills can be learned through effective training programs. In hospital setup upon assumption of work, nurses will undergo a series of trainings from generic or general nursing orientation, unit-specific orientation, preceptorship, competency appraisal, essential and universal leadership skills training program, which nurses gain personal growth, career satisfaction and advancement, and most especially, networking. In networking, nurses who spend significant period of time learning together often develop spatial camaraderie, which encourage ongoing collaboration and synergy among colleagues and institutions. Second, involve nurses in shared decision-making. Giving nurses a voice in key hospital decision-making can offer a great sense of inclusion and appreciation. Nurses often feel like hospital and healthcare facilities don't give enough recognition, support, or appreciation, resulting in high turnover, decreased productivity, and poor patient outcomes. In hospital setup, we do have different hospital committees, and nurse leaders are always part of these committees. Aside from the hospital committees, we have different teams represented by different nurses who are usually bedside nurses. Third, offer continuous feedback. Continuous improvement is a valuable system to keep employees motivated and engaged. When employees can give and receive critical feedback with their management, it lets them feel more appreciated, less stressed out, and helps build confidence as well. It is important for managers to connect with their team on a regular basis to ensure employee is equipped with the necessary tools to remain productive and engaged. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you so much for raising your concerns and questions. We hope that all of them have been addressed and clarified accordingly by our guest speakers, Mr. Ahmad Omar Hausawi and Dr. Monalinda Makaandal Makawatib. For all the questions that we cannot accommodate due to the limited allotted time for this session, your questions will be addressed by the respective speakers through email. Now, it's time for a breather. After those wonderful discussions, are you ready for some entertainment? Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome you to a singer from Thailand who has been in the industry for 20 years. And in fact, she's doing live music sessions as well in social media. Please give your big round of applause to Miss Shelly Tayo Gregorio singing Rise Up.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but it's in you, so we're gonna work it out. Move mountains, we're gonna work it out. Move mountains. And I rise like a day, I rise up, I rise unafraid, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I rise up, high like the waves, I rise up, in spite of the aches, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. For getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and arise like a day. Arise unafraid. Arise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again for you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise again. Rise up, rise like a day. Rise up, in spite of the ache. Rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. We'll rise up, high like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again for you, for you, for you, for you.
Wow, what a performance! Thank you so much, Miss Shelly Tayo Gregorio. That was a golden buzzer moment for me. Not only was it entertaining, but it was also a heartfelt performance. Plus, the pictures shown truly reflect what we nurses are truly about, service. And since we are still in the pandemic, we are truly thankful for the heroes of the modern times, our frontliners, especially to our doctors and nurses who, despite the odds, continue to fight and save lives. As the song goes, after this pandemic, we will definitely rise up. But before we move to the next part of our program, we would like to acknowledge Mr. Jonald Gregorio, the better half of Miss Shelley, for putting up the inspirational song video and heartwarming pictures of our nurses together into one masterpiece. Please accept our heartfelt gratitude. And now, we will proceed to the awarding of certificates that will be facilitated by Miss Marilyn Tayo, our event chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. John. The Philippine Women's University Graduate School of Nursing, Master of Arts in Nursing, hereby awards the Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Monalinda Macawadib for her enthusiastic participation as the guest speaker of this event, entitled Catching Up with Nursing Issues and Trends, Excellence in Patient Care to Nursing Transformation, given this 5th day of February 2022 at the Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines, signed by yours truly, Merlin Kapukian Tayo, as the webinar chairperson, and Dr. Minerva de Ala, Dean School of Nursing. Please accept as well from PWU and the organizers of this plaque of appreciation and a small token as a gesture of our heartfelt gratitude for being one of our guest speakers. Thank you, Ma'am Mona Linda. The Philippine Women's University Graduate School of Nursing, Master of Arts in Nursing hereby awards the Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Ahmad Omar Hausawi for his enthusiastic participation as the guest speaker of this event entitled Catching Up with Nursing Issues and Trends, Excellence in Patient Care to Nursing Transformation. Given this 5th day of February 2022 at the Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines. Signed by yours truly, Merlin Capuquiantayo, as the webinar chairperson, and Dr. Minerva Tiala, Dean School of Nursing. Please accept as well from PWU and the organizers this plaque of appreciation and a small token as a gesture of our heartfelt gratitude for being one of our guest speakers. Thank you, Sir Ahmad.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
I am honored to award the Certificate of Recognition to my dear sister, Ms. Shelly Tayo Gregorio, for sharing her talent and rendering a heartwarming intermission number to pay tribute to our dear nurses during this webinar. Given this 5th day of February 2022 at the Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines, signed by yours truly, Merlin Capuquiantayo, as the webinar chairperson, and Dr. Minerva Diala, Dean School of Nursing. Please accept as well from PWU and the organizers this plaque of recognition and a small token as a gesture of our heartfelt gratitude for gracing the webinar with your talent. I am truly proud to award the Certificate of Recognition, Group 3 of Section DEP 09A, for their valuable and outstanding contributions to this nursing webinar, for without them, none of this would be possible. Our program coordinator and master of ceremonies, Ms. Stephanie C. Tilag, Sir John Bob Redoblado for registration and evaluation and for helping out Ms. Stephanie to grace the event. For Arts and Design, Ms. Azrahain T. Manupak. For Media and Communication, Ms. Charmaine L. Sahi. For Tokens and Certificate Distribution, Ms. Rafaida N. Samindi. And Ms. Rogelyn B. Marquez for Documentation and Certificate Distribution. Given this 5th day of February 2022 at the Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines, chairperson, and Dr. Minerva B. Diala, Dean School of Nursing. Again, please accept my heartfelt gratitude for everything that you have done for this webinar.
Thank you, Ms. Merlin, for presenting the awards to our guests and members of Group 3. From Philippine Women's University, Graduate School of Nursing, Master of Arts in Nursing, we are also proud to award the Certificate of Recognition to Ms. Merlin Tayo for her outstanding contribution as the webinar chairperson of this event, entitled Catching Up with Nursing Issues and Trends, Excellence in Patient Care Through Nursing Transformation, given this 5th day of February 2022 at Philippine Women's University, Manila, Philippines, signed by Dr. Mark D. Santos, PWU instructor, and Dr. Minerva De Ala, Dean School of Nursing. Thank you for leading the group in making this webinar a success. We would also like to give appreciation to the Philippine Women's University Incredible Multimedia and ICT Department, headed by Mr. Vladimir and Mr. Michael Ventanilla, respectively. Without your guidance and efforts, this webinar will not be a success. Before we end our program, may I invite Ms. Azareta Bodoc Manupak, graduate student taking up Masters in Nursing, to deliver our closing remarks.
Thank you so much. Firstly, I would like to start by thanking you all, the speakers for the excellent, well-thought talks, the event chairperson for organizing and animating this webinar and keeping things both under control and reasonably on time. To Dr. Dean Minerva Diala for guidance and support, to our dear professor, Dr. Mark D. Santos, for the continuous support. Lastly, and most importantly, thank you all, the members and also the participants. Without your input, ideas, and discussions, this webinar would not have been possible and successful. It has been a very interesting journey listening to our brilliant speakers. As we intently listen to them, for sure we are refreshed with the lessons that we have learned in the past. Also, there is no doubt that we learn of something new today. And for the fact that now and then there are transitions because trends keep coming. Today, we are equipped with new information that will definitely hone us to becoming a more globally competitive in dealing with our clients in the nursing field. As we face the world, may the transformation that is expected in us will be evidential in our dealings with our superiors, our colleagues, our subordinates, if any, but most of all to our patients. That as we long for a better change, let us be the better change ourselves. Everyone, all together, we can make a difference, inshallah, and thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Manupak, for that inspiring message. Finally, we would like to thank everyone for attending and actively participating during our program. We hope that you were able to learn so much about excellence in patient care through nursing transformation and apply your learning when you go back to your institutions.
For our participants, the evaluation link is now posted. Please accomplish the form and submit accordingly. The certificate of attendance will be sent to you within 7 to 14 days. You may also scan the QR code to access the evaluation link. In case you did not receive your certificate of attendance, you may contact Ms. Rafaida N. Samindi through her email 2021t0793@pw.edu.ph or Ms. Rogeline B. Marquez at 2021t0556@pw.edu.ph. We would also like to encourage everyone to stay until the end of the Philippine Women's University hymn as the evaluation link will be posted again after the link. Also, the link will be commented on Facebook and YouTube. On behalf of the Philippine Women's Graduate Schools of Nursing, once again, this is John Babredo Blado
and Stephanie Tilag. Thank you, and we are praying and hoping for everyone's safety.